It now says we're on the air with episode 2, or excuse me, season 2, episode 14. It now says we're on I always do this crap. I fixed it again. There's 2 weeks in a row, the exact same thing. Y'all remind me next week to mute.
Yeah, we will remind you.
So I don't get the echo. All right. Season 2, episode 14 of Drone Therapy, the Bucketlist Boys, with special guest Asgard Studios, Mr. Hugh Long. And with that being said, I will pass to, I'm going to mess with him now. I'm going to say, Bill, for your introductions and howdies.
Thank you very much, Bill. It is a wonderful Wednesday evening. I'm very much looking forward to finding out about more about Hugh and what he does. And I think everybody is just going to be absolutely fascinated with what Hugh does. Got some good things to talk about. We're talking about the 6-month anniversary of the Mavic 2 series coming out. That's fantastic. Had a fantastic interview last night with Romeo Dersher, Director of Safety Integration for DJI. Talk about that a little bit. Looking forward to, there's some new releases coming up of some of the toy drones. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. And with that, I'm just going to pass that to Mr. Ron Brown.
Thank you, Bill. Hello, everybody tonight. Before I get into too much of the show, I want to congratulate Bill H. on his great interview with Romeo. I'm sorry, I forget the guy's last name. Say it, Bill.
Dersher.
From DJI. Bill had just a great interview with him last night. He just knocked it out of the park. In my opinion, it was among his best interviews yet. So I want everybody to, go over and check that video out when you get a chance. But, okay, we're going to get into the show tonight. It's a few things I want to talk about tonight. I posted a new review just today of the Potancic drone. It's a little toy drone. It was sent to me from an Amazon seller. I'll link my video review. I did an unboxing last week, but we'll get into that a little bit more. I have some Xeno updates. Xeno had a couple firmware updates just this morning or yesterday morning to like the flight controller and things like that. And then they had another interesting firmware update to the actual controller, which that's a controversial one. We'll get into that later. And I want to talk about the new drone photography software from Skylum. It's called Air Magic. Supposedly you can just put your aerial photographs in and it just instantly fixes them for you. So we have a little trailer for that. I'll post a little trailer for that on my group. And in the second half of the show, if we get a little time, Bill and I want to get into the Mavic 2 Pro 6 months later. I think you're going to enjoy that. So on that note, I'm going to pass it over to you, who has a lot to talk about tonight. You take it away.
Well, hey, what's up, guys?
How you doing?
Talk about my scorecards. So do you want me to just give an introduction to what I'm doing?
Basically, yeah, I just thought you would say, your Hugh North, your location if you want to, what you're into right now, that kind of thing. And then you throw it back to me, and then we'll go into your scorecard. How about that?
Hi, my name's Hugh North. I'm a drone addict. Yes, I am. I run a channel called Asgard Studios where I review drones. I'm also into drone photography. That's kind of my main interest and how I got into drones in the first place. And my real passion's for making drone music videos, but haven't done as many of those with the weather lately. So, yeah, I've been doing a lot of, working with toy drones and developing this drone scorecard system.
Oh, very, very cool. And that's something, that's what led me to you in the first place. I noticed you were doing some Tello stuff, and that I noticed that you were doing some other things. I want to give a quick shout out. I see Birdman. I said Idaho Sledhead. I see Bill. I see Art. I see X-Crossed. I see Johnson Ibass all the way back. Yeah, I just want to make sure. And Drone Effects with Claude was the very first in the house. I just want to give everybody a quick shout out there, and thanks for coming in. Throw some questions, and we'll do our best to notice them and feed them to Hugh so that he can devour them in the Viking way. So on that note, out of curiosity, how did you come up with Asgard Studios and in particular your icon logo?
So Asgard Studios goes back a long way. I've been into Norse mythology and whatnot for well, forever, practically my whole life, but seriously researching it probably for the past 15 or 20 years. And so that's kind of rooted in who I am, my interest in that. As for the logo, well, I was looking for something simpler. I had a really fancy logo that I paid for and designed, and then everybody kept telling me, nah, you've got to have something abstract, something a bit more simple. And so I found this little Viking-looking dude with a set of headphones. I thought it was kind of cute. And so my beard didn't look like this initially. I had a beard much more like yours, Bill. It looked quite trim and whatnot. But anyway, I started growing it out to look like the icon. So,
oh, very cool. That works out really cool.
Meet in the middle here, I hope, somewhere.
Okay, well, moving things along a little bit. What exactly spurred you to come up with the scorecards, and can you give us kind of a basic overview of what the scorecard is?
Sure. So, I looked at all the different drone reviews for a particular drone that I was looking at. So let's use the DJI Tello for an example. I went through and watched probably, 20 or 30 different videos on different people reviewing it. And nobody actually did the same thing, which I guess is good because you want different perspectives. But I really found it a hard time to kind of pick out the common threads about, what makes a good drone. You can just look at specs like flight time or weight or, some very basics like that, which is great. But I want to have something a little bit more comprehensive and something that was consistent, so that every time I looked at a drone, I could compare apples to apples or apples to oranges if that was the case, right?
Mm-hmm. We have one request that I've seen from the chat. They were curious if you brought your helmet or not.
Well, let's see. Hold on. Did I bring the helmet? Well, guys, I may have.
There we go.
Nice.
Full blown. I
have pulled this out before.
We've never had a helmet on the show before.
Well, it's really handy when the wife's chasing me around the house. When she's upset about something, this thing's a lifesaver, guys.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
When you're flying FPV when you're first starting out.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Well, since we've given an introduction into your scorecards, I know that Ron has many questions that he's curious to ask. And with that, I will pass it to Mr. Ron Brown.
Thank you, Bill Thomas. I'm going to give you a tough one right off the bat here. You ready?
Bring it. Bring it
on. Okay. In your scorecard system, what drone has acquired the highest score yet?
I think it's 88, and I think it's the Parrot Swing.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
I really love that drone. Oh, and the Holy Stone HS-150 just tied it at 88 as well.
I'm not familiar. What's the Holy Stone 150?
It's like a small line of sight trainer. It's got brushed motors, but it's extremely powerful. It would be an excellent trainer for somebody, say, that wanted to move up to a Bugs 3, for example.
Great. Now, how did the Tello score?
The Tello, let's see. The Tello I knocked a little bit for its optical sensing system. And I had issues that are probably going to be particular to somebody like me. Up in the snow, when you're trying to fly, it's a very uniform surface. And so the processors have a really hard time executing maneuvers. So if you're trying to do these pre-programmed flights where you move, X number of centimeters or feet forward, it really has a hard time processing stuff like that.
Okay.
But anyway, 84% is what I gave it overall.
Nice. So it sounds like you're a lot like me in that you fly everything. You fly toy drones, like kind of mid-range drones, and you sounds like you fly higher-end drones for your drone photography. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I have a Mavic Air that I find just an exceptional drone.
I saw your scorecard of that in the video you sent to me today. I really enjoyed the video where you explained your whole scoring system, and I could tell you were very fond of the Mavic Air. Yeah, it's a great. I don't have one, but I know it's a great drone. I have the Spark and I have the Mavic Pros. I don't have the in-between Mavic Air.
I love the Spark. I really did. The Spark was amazing. I ended up drowning my Spark, sadly.
Oh,
Yep.
Winter time drowning or summertime drowning?
It was a spring drowning, actually.
Okay. Now, what's spring like in Ontario?
It's cool here. You know, we have a very, very short summer, but we're about probably 6 hours north of you, I think.
I'm in South Jersey.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager, I went to Niagara Falls and we crossed over into Canada, and I don't know how far north we got. I don't know if we got anywhere near Ontario or not.
Well, you know, I find Syracuse gets the same weather we do. We're about 9 minutes north of the border, north of Syracuse, actually. And we seem to get the same cold, you know, wet, snowy weather.
Right. Where I live, we get a lot of, you know, well, I call it cold weather, but, you know, snow, we get snow, but, you know, it's usually the 1 or 2 inch variety. We don't get the snow. We may get the cold. When it's real sunny out, that's when it's its coldest. When it's snowing, it's a little bit warmer.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I guess the snow comes from the or whatever, something like that. So it always seems to bring a little bit higher temperature. Like today, it was probably 25, but it had a wind chill probably in the teens, but it was completely sunny. It looked warm outside. But so, of course, I can't talk to you about cold weather.
I've seen cold, but I did spend 10 years in Virginia, so I know nice, mild.
Okay. All right.
Did he say Virginia? That's my neck of the woods.
Oh, yes, sir.
I'm originally from Southwest Virginia, the birthplace of Mountain Dew. So
awesome.
Google it, a place called Marion. But anyway.
I know Marion. I've been to Marion. I live in Newmarket, Virginia.
Oh, wow. Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
Up here, Bull Run Mountain. Well, right on Bull Run Mountain, actually.
Oh, wow.
Awesome. Small world.
It is. It is.
Yes. Anything else you want to add, Ron, or are you going to pass to Bill? Because I figured I found the link that he had showed us earlier, and I thought
great.
that Mavic Air here at the end of it, so that, and then I'll put the link up in the chat so that people.
Great. That's a good video. But no, I'm gonna pass it along to my friend Bill H in sunny Florida.
Yeah, it wasn't so sunny today, unfortunately. Well, yeah, it was, but it started out chilly, like 35 this morning for us. So that's cold.
Whoa, 35! What happened, Bill?
Well, it was my fault. I had washed all my winter. I washed my coats and I was hanging them up, and the weather broke again. So I'm leaving them go this time. I'm not.
Did you send a blast of cold air down to Florida?
If I did, I'm sorry. That's what I'm supposed to say. I'm sorry.
Well, we weren't supposed to. We were supposed to just get rain, but there's 1.5 inches of snow outside again already.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it wasn't expected. So I guess I'll take a few more snow pictures.
You know, I think next winter I'm going to buy an RC snowmobile. That's what I'm going to do for the days I can't drone, right? You know,
and mount an FPV camera on it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly, man. That would be really boss. Especially, and I wonder what would happen if you rolled up on a Bigfoot. Wouldn't it be something? Especially if you could make the camera pan. It would be awesome for the video right before the stomp. Hey. Oh wow! Did you see that? They'll never believe it. Anyway,
hey, Bill H., can I take the floor back for just a second? It was something I wanted to ask you, and I forgot it, but Bill Thomas helped me remember. Tell me a little bit about that Logger Eye drone. I know I saw your recent video, and I know Brian Singleton just got it recently too, and he didn't really explain much about it. We talked a little bit today. It's a brushless drone.
Yeah, you know, it's an older drone. It's from back, I think, almost in 2015.
Wow.
It was made by a company that was called RC Logger. They've now rebranded, and they're called Drone Art. Really interesting company. They're looking at making drones that are really beautifully crafted machines. And even the RC Logger, which is a simple machine, every piece is designed just so. I mean, it's just an incredibly, beautiful piece of engineering. And so they've got racing drones now that are, in that same vein where every piece is really thoughtfully engineered and picked and chosen and put together.
The Logger is like a fully manual drone?
Yeah, fully manual. Right now in Amazon in the US, they're $50, $49.99, brushless motors. I mean, it's an amazing quad.
A good flyer?
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Good transmitter? Oh, Bill's got. Does Bill have the logger there? He's got it.
There it is. Yeah, there it is.
But here's the ringer, guys. I got mine for $20.
$20.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Every now and again, you can find them. They'll be on sale for $20.
Yeah.
The only thing, I love them to death, but it's okay. Here's my simplest way to explain it, Ron. It's like a Bugs 3 Mini on steroids.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's right on the edge of acro.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so powerful, it wants to pull the motors right out of the mounts. And so that's why I did this aluminum motor mount upgrade, which now totally secures these things in here.
And
oh yeah.
And they purr. They don't make any noise at all.
Oh my god, they're like a ninja.
Yeah.
It starts up. It's like I'm hypnotized when I hear it.
Yeah, but the whole point is that first torque up. When that first torques up is so cool.
Oh yeah.
It purrs. It does it just purrs.
Guys, I'm gonna miss the rest of the show. I'm gonna go searching online and to find the $20 one. So I'll see you guys next week's episode.
Ron, get me one too.
I'm gonna get two and set one down for Bill H to review.
But you have to come down with it, Ron. We can do it together.
I'll hand deliver it.
Yeah, deliver.
Save on
Pick me up at the airport.
Yeah, just save on shipping, man. Just save on shipping.
Yeah, save on shipping.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, Hugh, I have a question for you, Hugh.
Yeah.
I know
I'm yielding the floor back to Bill H. I'm done hogging his time up.
Thank you, Ron. My question, Ron asked you the top drone. I'm going to ask you the opposite question. What was the worst review and on what drone?
Well, I haven't done so many so far, and most of them I've done, I've already known they were good drones going in, right? You know, I picked the top first, right? But unfortunately, the Holy Stone 200D, I got 2 of them from Holy Stone.
Uh-oh.
What are you going to do? That's not good.
We had a hiccup when you said you got 2 from Holy Stone, so you need to tell us that one again.
Well, I got 2 free drones from them.
Ah, the free part we missed because we had you blurred for a second and you froze. So we missed the free part.
Sorry. No, I had returned another drone and they wanted to make me happy. So they sent me this drone, and then one of the chargers melted, so they sent me a second drone, and the charger melted on it too. So
gosh.
But the customer service, I'll tell you, is amazing. It really is. So anyway, now I'm flying a Holy Stone Bolt B that they gave me as a replacement, and it is exceptional. This is stellar. Hopefully it doesn't break or burn down because I'm liking this.
And I love the Heliway, what is it, 903 HS with the FPV camera in it.
Oh, you bugger. I like the blue too.
Well, the thing, and every now and again, you can catch them on sale for anywhere from $15 to $20.
Those things, they're such great flyers. They're just so nice.
But the thing, the Bolt B is what's hard to find, that yellow and black, anywhere $45-50.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. Oh, wow. I see True Drone Reviews is getting his Xeno tomorrow. Well, that's kind of cool because I hadn't told anybody yet. But the Tiny Hawk finally got on the slow boat from China to the U.S. and finds its way to the house tomorrow.
Awesome.
So I'll have the whole Tiny Hawk, that ready to fly kit. So I'll have the little Free Sky, simple transmitter, and we'll have to see what those goggles are like. So maybe I'll do some kind of unboxing or whatever like that. Ah, and I see David's in the house. Perth West OZRC, True Drone Reviews, Drone Pool. Ron, Mike, I see a bunch of people in the house. Just wanted to say hi. And Bill, anything else you have for Hugh?
Well, the other question I was gonna ask you, with the Mavic Air, I just find I thought I had some time with it. I work with a local drone store down here in Florida, and they let me borrow one for a few weeks to test. And the one thing that just absolutely stood out to me about the Air more than anything else is it sounds like a hornet's nest.
Indeed it does. Can't argue that.
I mean,
like
when I took off from my driveway, I had like half the neighborhood was out looking like what was going on. I mean, it was like it was nothing stealth about that drone at all, in no way, shape, or form. But I was impressed with how it performed, how it handled. You know, outside of that noise factor, I was impressed with it.
Yeah, well, I initially had a Spark, and I was using it, you know, for basic photography, and I loved it so much. But then I lost it. This bridge accident. It was a darn shoelace that was hanging down and caught my rotor. Anyway, I decided that instead of rebuying the Spark, I would upgrade to the Mavic Air, which I'm so glad I did because I enjoyed it so much. I started doing commercial photography with it. So
I was going to ask you about commercial photography. Are you doing you know, for events, or are you just doing something to get out on Getty Images, or what?
Yeah, so I'm really trying to just focus on stock images. So I go out to nice places and take nice pictures and videos and put those up on stock websites.
Okay.
I don't really want to look for you know, for jobs per se, but what I'm looking for is just to kind of do my own thing and just be outdoors, you know, have fun.
Yeah, I did some with Getty, and you know, it was, you know, if you do enough of them, I ended up making in a weekend, like one night's work, I made like $75. Just
you're not rich. Like you know, I have no illusions about that. It's just, you know, I want to be able to pay for the drones and, you know, keep gas in the car and that sort of thing.
And keep your wife off your back.
Well, that too, you know.
Yeah, I have to work on that as well.
Otherwise, I have to wear the helmet in the house, right?
That's right.
I went to a new physical therapist today, and the guy that was next to me was his physical therapist goes, well, now I'm going to start out hurting you a little bit, and then I'm going to progressively hurt you a little bit more as we go along. And he said, that's okay, I'm married.
Ooh. 50 Shades of Therapy. That's what I'm talking about.
So, well, that's the whole thing. And that's kind of like how I came up with drone therapy, because just like I told everybody, I don't know how it is for them, but for me in particular, when I'm having a stressful day or I'm having a bad day or just kind of down in general, even if I'm flying indoor a little nano or something around the house, I always feel better, you know, kind of releases stress and tension. And I've noticed too that when I'm talking to my other drone friends and buddies and pals and stuff, we'll talk about drones for a while, and then we always kind of evolve into talking about issues like what might be with their wife or something tore up with the car or some kind of details with Kmart or Walmart or something like that. So I was like, wow, now this is almost therapeutic too. So I came up with the drone therapy thing so that we can all share and have a good time and ha ha ha. And so that's neat. So anything else? Because I'm going to show this to give a kind of a, and Hugh, you can actually speak while we're playing it if you want to, so that we can see your scorecard for the Mavic Air and get an idea of what's going on with it. What do you think of that, guys? Huh?
Go for it.
Roll it, Bill.
I'm trying to, where did I put it now? Everything's not big no more. What did I do? There we go. That's my Virginia coming back in. That's what kind of kills me. People look at me and they'll go, where are you from? I'm from Virginia. Can you talk a little bit more? Can you put quarters in the slot, please? I'll talk a little bit.
My favorite state by far. I moved there because I wanted to go to Virginia, not because I had a job there. I actually looked for a job to get me to Virginia.
Well, I love Virginia. I really do. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to make it sound bad, but I was ready for a change, and I love it out here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I just need to. I'll go home sometimes. And with that being said, I'll stop rambling on, and I will unmute this so that we might hear this, and I will do me a. Come on. Hey, we're starting to get good now. Play. Kind of a neat intro.
So you want to buy a new drone. Who doesn't? The problem is there are so many on the market. How do you choose? Well, that's where I'm going to try to help you. What I tried to do here was create an objective drone scorecard so that we could look at any drone and look at various factors like feature set, the price, the design of the drone, what's the aftermarket support like, you know, what's flight time, all those kinds of things that you're going to think about when you want to buy a drone. So what I've done here is put together a grid of 9 features or 9 aspects against a 1:9 scale. And the 9 is because of Norse mythology, and you know, this is Asgard Studios, so 9. There we go. Anyway, I use the Mavic Air as an example here because I think most people would agree it's one of the best camera drones on the market, regardless of price or whatnot. So let's walk through this scorecard. The first thing is features. So what does it include? Camera, gimbal, you know, the controller. Does it have weatherproofing? Things like that. The second thing is price, and this is relative to other drones in its category, right? So the Mavic Air has a certain price, and there's really no drone that can touch that. So I call that amazing for the money. All right, so the third thing on the list is design and form factor. You know, what is the drone designed like? The Mavic Air, for example, is foldable, and it's one of the tiniest drones that you can buy, you know, with a 4K camera. It's pretty incredible. So we look at things like that. You could also look at whether it's a hexacopter versus a quadcopter. You know, a hexacopter is more stable. It has redundant motors, or it could be even a larger form factor, like maybe 8 or 10 motors. There are quadcopters out there like that. The fourth thing is support. You know, what's it like to get something fixed on the drone if you break it, or what happens if you crash it? Do you have coverage? So those things are kind of important as well. Ecosystem. So what kind of accessories can you buy? How well integrated is it with Apple and Android and, you know, all the popular smartphones? So that's something to consider as well. Number 6 on the list is quality. How well built is it? Is it, you know, is it got good materials? Is it thoughtfully built? In the case of the Mavic Air, I think, you know, most people would agree it's an exceptionally built machine. Number 7 is flight time. I think this is important for everybody, whether you're a leisure flyer or a commercial flyer. You want to have as much airtime as you can. And so that's one of our aspects as well to grade on the scorecard. Another thing is survivability. Now, I specifically call this survivability because a drone can survive 2 ways. It can be either very durable, i.e. well-built, you know, tough, tank-like, or it can have extremely intelligent collision avoidance. So in the case of, say, the DJI Spark, it is built like a little tank. I've struck telephone poles and wires with it and stuff, and the thing keeps on ticking, which is really nice because, you know, who wants their drone to be dead? The Mavic Air, for example, though, has, it doesn't seem to be as well built as the DJI Spark, but it has much more sophisticated sense and avoid capabilities. It has detection front, bottom, and rear, I believe, just not top and sides. And finally, the last aspect is stability. How stable is it to fly? Now, if you're flying an FPV freestyle quad, then obviously stability is not necessarily an option, right? You want something that is perhaps inherently unstable, so you can do tricks and flips and things like that. But, you know, still, you want a quadcopter that is stable until you want it to be unstable. So stability applies even if it's not a camera drone. And in case of the Mavic Air, it's rock solid. It's one of the best out there. There's a video on YouTube of this guy who throws water balloons at his Mavic Air, which is freaking hilarious. I'll link that. Anyway, so I hope you found this useful. You know, this is a draft, if you will. It's the first time I'm putting this scorecard out. So if you've got comments, if you've got feedback, please leave it in the comments below. I'd really like to know what you think of this. And I'm using the Mavic Air just as an example. So if you have any, you know, concerns about the ratings I've given the Mavic Air, or you've got real world experience, and chime in, let me know. I'm happy to update these scorecards. You know, I'm not the judge, jury, and executioner of drones here. I'm just some guy that, you know, has opinions. So. But anyway, this is a scorecard I'm trying to put together for all my future reviews. That way I've got kind of an objective, you know, snapshot of each drone. So somebody can look through a bunch of drones and say, okay, well, you know, I want something with a lot of flight time, or maybe I want something with high durability or whatever. And so that's what I'll cover in these scorecards. And of course, this is just a part of the review that I'll be doing for any given drone. I'll also be talking a lot about all the features in detail. This will be just like, once I've covered everything, this will be the snapshot at the end that says, hey, this is the grade you got. You know, is it a pass or fail, basically? And as you can see for the Mavic Air, it's a 93%. So I think that's pretty good. Anyway, so I will leave it with you guys there. So hopefully you find something useful here. If not, let me know how we can fix it.
Very cool, man. I enjoyed every bit of that. So with that being said, everybody got to see what Hugh's scorecards are like. And as he heard at the end of it, he's looking for some input. So I can see one question from the chat from Idaho Sledhead. Hugh, do you have any experience with DJI Phantoms? And how about an opinion on the Enterprise Dual? Okay, I'm not sure if he has experience with those drones. Hugh?
I do not. Unfortunately, since I bought the Mavic Air and use it extensively, I just haven't bothered to buy another camera drone. So I don't, unfortunately.
So if anybody has a DJI fan they want to send out for review, you'll leave his address at the end of the show.
Absolutely. I will take one. And as a matter of fact, that's something I would like to upgrade to in the future is a Phantom just for that better camera. That would be nice.
Yeah, because that's and you don't realize until you've not flown it for a while just how incredible the camera is on the Phantom.
That's what I hear.
I still to this day I will put it up with the Mavic 2 Pro. I mean the Mavic 2 Pro all day long because it's just it takes so much longer to get in the air, but camera quality, picture quality, I don't know. It's just they're different. Like the color profile is different, the field of view is different, but
the dynamic range seems to be better.
Yeah, it's just
and low light, like the Mavic Air is terrible in low light. It's really horrible.
Yeah.
Middle of the day, it's great. Love it.
The Mavic Air, I still, and I've said this a million times on here, I regret getting rid of my Spark. And I regret purchasing the Mavic Air. I like the Mavic Air, but see, when I purchased the Mavic Air, I already had a Phantom 4 Pro.
Oh.
So yeah. I was like, I was really expecting a whole lot. And I don't know, I'm really good with, I was really good with the Spark. I really knew the little drone and how to take pictures and stuff with it. So, I miss it. Somewhere down the road, I hope that they're going to build us an upgraded Spark because I'm kind of passionate to that little drone. But
I'm kind of hoping there's a 250 gram or less Spark. That's really what I really hope DJI focuses on.
I don't know. Have you all seen that micro drone 4.0? It's supposed to be, basically a tello with a gimbal on it.
I saw it, and it didn't excite me. What can I say? It's less than the Spark, maybe, or something. But
it looks okay until you see the video quality.
Well,
yeah,
they use that Inspire 1 to film that one footage video. And the thing about it is I'm curious. That gimbal's got to put some stress on those little motors, and it can't just be like unless it's like a really really cheapo piece of plastic, and there's like all plastic gears and stuff that are going to pop and break in no time flat. How is it going to support that gimbal for any length of time on those little motors?
But if they send me one to test, I'll be willing to change my opinion.
Oh, yes, most definitely. Most definitely.
Again, post your address at the end of the show here for the review to throw it in.
All right. And since we've kind of covered everything and everybody saw that, let's see. Okay, you don't have any experience. Bill was talking about he had done a series on the dual. Hey, Bill, well, there's an idea right there. Maybe you and Hugh could get together and Hugh could kind of give you pointers on his format. You could give him a discussion of what the dual was like. And between the two of you, you could come up with a scorecard for the dual.
I sure could. That would be easy. Very easy.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, exactly. So, you could he might have some input on some areas of testing, not only with the dual, but maybe some stuff that you're doing with your series on the Mavic 2 Pro maybe there would be something there that you might, something different, like where you're doing the waypoint testing. Maybe there's something on the scorecards that you could input there that might give some.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Overall, so okay. With that being said, I know that
collab.
yeah, exactly. With that being said, I want to throw it over to Bill because I know he had some other subject because we're a little bit past halfway now, and I know the guys had some other stuff to cover. Bill, take it away.
Yes. Thank you, Bill. Wanted to, and I know Ron and I'll talk about this in a little bit here. I just had a video come out the first 6 months of the DJI Mavic 2 of ownership, and reviewed a lot of what I had talked about, and a lot of the reviews that I had done, and put some clips together. Well, I have another one coming out, and it should come out after the broadcast tonight. And what it is the actual See the Bigger Picture event. From our time from the plane when we landed in New York City to going over to Brooklyn by Uber and closing our eyes while the Uber driver took us there, and then just the whole event itself. How it was staged, what was done. It's one of those things, until you experience it, you really don't really have a glimpse as to what DJI is like. I can't tell you how professional they were, how courteous, how kind they were. They put on a first-rate event, and they put on, just a class thing there. It was just, both my wife and I were just, our jaws were dropped, and they each gave us 32 gigabyte SD cards, and we wondered why. Well, after the event was over and we got some hands-on time with the drones, out behind this, it was supposedly an old greenhouse, but it was on the pier over in Brooklyn, and they gave us an opportunity to take the 2 Pro and the 2 Zoom up in the air, and they had to get clearance from the city of New York to be able to do that. So that was quite a feat right there. The other thing I wanted to, and Ron and I can talk a little bit more about this when we talk about that. But the other thing was, last night I had Romeo Dersher on, and Romeo is the director of public safety integration from DJI. And he came to DJI after spending 13 years at NASA in their solar observatory. And just what an incredible time we had last night. I wish I could have talked to him for another hour. I could have. Just his take on things. And just, we talked about everything from, the, if you want to call it, fake media reports about drones, like at Newark and in Dublin and at London Gatwick. We talked about that some. We also talked a lot. We spent a lot of time talking about search and rescue. And Romeo, actually, and this was a great tidbit that I got from the show, he was involved with the design of the Mavic 2 Enterprise and the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual. They accepted a lot of his input when they were building those drones, which I thought was absolutely fascinating. And it also sounds like, and I was trying to gear him, but he was kind of like, plays the DJI card of, not really saying a whole lot. But it sounds like there's going to be some more options available for the Enterprise series, which is great. I mean, they have the loudspeaker, they have the strobe, and they have the searchlight. So that's kind of exciting to know that they're doing some things. And he's basically said last night, expect a banner year from DJI. He spends a lot of time with the enterprise sides of things. Because I asked him, I said, have you been to any of the events? And he said, yes, but mostly the enterprise side, not the consumer side. But he comes to Florida a lot, and he said, we're going to hook up sometime. And because he gets down here to the Tampa area, and I told him, I said, I got some great places to fly. He says, all you have to do is mention the word fly, Bill, and I'm with you. So I'm looking forward to getting a chance to meet him in person, and definitely going to have him on again. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about with Romeo was they did a Good Morning America segment over in a cave over in Vietnam, and he told me his favorite drone was an Inspire 1. That he just absolutely loves the Inspire 1. And what they did was they were able to get a signal from the Inspire 1 out the cave, relay it via satellite to New York City to show the broadcast inside the cave, which I thought was absolutely positively fascinating. And, he's been also involved with some United Nations work in terms of charting out the Maldives. he said that, and I didn't know this, there are island chains south of India that they are only 4 feet above sea level, and about 75% of the islands will be covered in, I think, about 10 or 15 years. So they're helping ways to try to map things out to for soil erosion, and they're using drones to do that. And in one day, they were able to map out an entire island, I guess, with a Phantom 4. So that was real interesting. He was absolutely fascinating. If you get a chance, definitely watch it again. I was so thrilled to have him on last night. He was great, and I'm looking forward to getting a chance to meet him in person.
Bill, I thought one of the most fascinating things when he talked about that cave in Vietnam, he said the cave had its own climate and its own jungle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, he knows, and he told me, he said, because he actually knows, remember Gail, who I had on a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, very good guess.
Gail, okay, which was, that kind of blew me away. We talked about that a little bit before the show began. He knows Gail, and he also, and I'm trying to remember her name, Stephanopoulos, that's on Good Morning America. He said that she's into drones as well too, and he said she would be great to have on your show, and I could, I could definitely hook you guys up. I said, absolutely. I said that would be absolutely fantastic. And, to get and I told him, I said, maybe we can get a plug for last night's broadcast and get it to her to try to get it out and broadcast it, because I think people really need to see that interview. He was just absolutely fantastic.
Yes, it was. Really incredible. Hugh, real quick, is there any questions that you have for Bill about what he did last night or anything?
I don't have any questions off the top of my head, no.
There was just a couple of things I wanted to point out too. I wanted to, because I told him that we would try to do this every week. Let's not forget, I know it's a long ways off, but October the 19th is Spin Up 2019. So put your nickels and pennies away and save up so that you can get out there and visit with Kelly and whoever else he gets to come and guest speak for this year down there in Texas. So don't forget about that. And I also wanted to throw it back to Hugh for a question. I noticed that Kim put up a video today. He got a gift from somebody. Would you know anything about that?
Oh, Kim.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those holy stones I was mentioning earlier, those 200 Ds, I sent them to him, and he is a whiz with electronics, so he got him up and running and flying.
Yeah, I noticed that he was showing one that he had the transmitter and stuff running, but he just said that the other one didn't have batteries and stuff in it, and he had mentioned you. And I thought that was kind of cool because I remembered you had brought it up earlier, and I was like, but they're still alive. And the cool thing about that is I'm pretty sure that we can switch this over to Ron. Ron came up with an idea called, he wanted to get people to exchange drones. And it sounds like you've already kind of started that on your end up there in Canada with doing that too. So I'll pitch that back over to Ron, unless Bill's got some other stuff he wants to throw in. Other than that, we'll see. Bill, you got anything else?
Nope. Go to Ron. It's fine.
Throw it up, Ron.
Hey, Bill, real quick, I want to go back to something you said that Romeo told us is going to be a great year for DJI.
Yeah.
What year wasn't a great year for DJI?
That's true.
Good point.
Has there ever been a year they haven't released a good drone?
Well, he was actually very talkative, because when I was at the See the Bigger Picture event in New York, Kelly Shores was talking to Michael Oldenburg, who was the presenter, and he was so tight-lipped it wasn't funny. He basically, he was saying no comment, which was, I cracked up at that.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
Well, thanks, Bill. Well, listen, I'm going to go. Oh, go ahead, Bill Thomas.
No, you go right ahead, Ron.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to go into a little, my little Xeno portion of the show here, where I'll update you on the Xeno for a couple minutes. But before I dive in, I want to say tonight's episode is sponsored by Marcus Crawford, better known on his channel as Idaho Sledhead. Marcus has done a better job of reviewing the Xeno drone than anybody else on YouTube. He just did a second video today, where he tried every sort of fail-safe to get the return to home feature to work. turn the controller off, shut the app down, unplug it. And every single time, no matter what he did, the Xeno came right back. I mean, every time it came back, it landed a little farther away from the pad, but it came back every time. So the fail-safe return to home on the Xeno is spot on. And another little plug for the Xeno, in most people's videos, the Xeno lands closer to the landing pad when on the return to home does than the Fimi X8 does. And the Xeno doesn't even have precision landing or any bottom sensors, and it seems to land closer to the pad. But let me get on to the updates. Okay, yesterday morning, Monday morning, we woke up and Hubson had a promotional video up where they demonstrated how to upgrade the transmitter via a firmware update from the site. But the firmware update wasn't on the website, and the controversial part of it was you had to bend 2 pins together in this port in the transmitter to make it work. You had to physically change, I guess they were grounding each other. I have no idea. So I haven't heard anybody that's done this yet. Marcus, Idaho Sled, said he's going to do it, but he hasn't done it yet. So then this morning we wake up again, and there's no promotional video by Hubson, but on the website and on their Facebook page, they have released new firmware update to the flight controller and the gimbal and so on. So though, I don't know anybody who's downloaded and tested yet. I will be doing it shortly, but probably not until this weekend, just because I'm a little bit busy this week. But so that's kind of what's going on with the Xeno right now. It's a bunch of updates out now, and we're still waiting to see videos and reviews of these updates to pop out. So that's it on this. Go ahead, Bill. You have a question on the Xeno?
I got a question. So they're trying to get you to make like a jumper in
exactly.
the controller. They don't tell you to solder it or anything. You just kind of touch it.
Yeah. You're right.
Your finger and put it in the light socket too.
Yeah. They're trying to make you do a manual jumper rather than I don't know.
I was like, what, man?
Yeah. No.
So what happens if it's not the right one? Do you just arc the whole controller?
That's a good question. I can't wait to see the first video of somebody who's done it, and they didn't even tell you exactly what this update does. That's the worst part. Some people have speculated that it'll change. I think Marcus speculated that it'll change the Wi-Fi band. The phone app also got updated, and one of the update features, you could change the Wi-Fi band for a better signal. And I guess this update, this transfer update, is supposedly needs to be done before you could change these bands. Again, that's unconfirmed. That's just theory at this point.
Well, I guess the thing about it is, I'm like, I guess we know why we got the 10th anniversary price drop. How many people do they think are going to you actually want me to modify my device using firmware that you don't even have on your web page, and then in 2 months' time, when my transmitter goes up in flames, you're going to tell me I shouldn't have done it, and it's out of warranty. I bet you.
Right. Or we can send you out of the transmitter, and we'll only charge you $40 or $50 for it.
Yeah, plus shipping.
Plus shipping. Right. It's kind of crazy, and I may not. And that firmware may be there by now, the transmitter firmware, but it wasn't there yesterday when they were promoting on YouTube with their promotional video. It may be there by now. So Brian Singleton, be ready for all this stuff when your Xeno arrives tomorrow.
Well, you see what he's saying? That makes perfect sense. Using alligator clip for a jumper. But the whole point is do you need to leave it arced like that after you upgrade the firmware? Or are you supposed to bend it back? I mean,
that I'm not sure of.
See, that's what I'm wondering about. And the thing about it is every time you update the controller in the future, are you going to have to bend it back and forth? What happens after it snaps off finally?
Then they'll tell you how to solder new pins on.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you take it off afterwards, man.
Okay,
that's kind of interesting, but
hey, thanks, Marcus. I knew Marcus would chime in, and Marcus says that his firmware is off to date, so we're waiting for Marcus's test flight. Hopefully tomorrow. Marcus lives someplace really cold, so he has to deal with weather. Maybe not as cold as Ontario, but Marcus lives like Marcus. Tell us where you live. It's like Idaho or someplace. Well, Idaho's Idaho. Yeah, he lives in Idaho, which is pretty cold. But Marcus has the best scenery of anybody that posts drone videos. He goes out to these mountainous landscapes and lakes and like nobody has his scenery.
Idaho is just crazy beautiful.
Yeah,
I've got some killer scenery here, but this is what's so crazy. They just upgraded my tiny little airport to an international airport with 2 gates.
Oh, crap.
No. I can still get clearance up to 200 feet through the system. Actually, this airport is one of the first in the country. That's what it's got at the LAAC or whatever, so I can actually go to the Go4 app, go over there, and somebody's under the thing about it is even under the new rules, they can't tell you can't fly as a hobbyist. They just need you to let them know you're in the air. You all keep freaking out and thinking, oh dear God, I can't. Up to 200 feet, they can't tell you can't, because there's no plane supposed to be that low in the first place, because if they are, it's a stiff fine. So what they're saying is they just need to know that you're not some UFO in the air or some crazy bogey or somebody that's taking pictures somewhere they shouldn't be. And that's why they want you to call in and say, hey, I'm a drone at this address. I'm going to be flying about 200 feet up. I'm not going to be flying anywhere but around my property. And they're like, cool, thanks for letting us know. And that way, any planes that are coming in or anything like that, they say, oh, I see something. They say it's a drone at 200 feet. And you got to, make sure you're out of the way and everything. It's not like that you're going to, go in for clearance and they're going to shut you down automatically, or you're going to call the tower and they're going to say, no way. The whole point is they just need to know you're in the air. And that way they know for sure what's going on, and they can tell other pilots what's going on long before they get near you if anybody has any questions. So it's not that they're trying to be the boogeyman. They're just trying to have a good traffic in the airspace, kind of like we have on the ground that we still ain't got worked out perfectly.
That's for sure. Bill, one other thing I want to talk about. Bill and I are both big fans of Skyloom software, photo editing software. I think we both have Aurora, HDR, and what's Luminar, and they both updated just recently. And Luminar even added a digital asset memory manager recently, so they're competing with Photoshop in a way now, or Lightroom, I should say. But just I think just this morning they put a promotional video out for a piece of software called Air Magic. We don't have a date or a price yet. They say it's coming this spring, and it's for drone photos specifically. And you just load your photos in the software, and it uses a computer algorithm to correct your photos automatically. So even if you're not a big time photo editor, you don't have to sit there and manage all these sliders and techniques. You just hit the auto button, and again, I've only seen a promotional video. So every promotional video looks good, but if it's anywhere as near as good as a promotional video, it'll be a big boom to people that don't have time to sit around and edit hundreds of drone videos. They can have it done in just a few minutes while they're drinking their coffee. Did you see this video, Bill?
No, that's go ahead.
Did you see this video, Bill H? And then we'll throw it to Bill Thomas.
No, I haven't. I'm real excited. I'm gonna go check that out.
I posted I think I posted in your group.
Oh, okay. I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Talking about color correcting?
It's a little bit of everything. Like he's talking about this particular software company he's talking about is called Skylum, SKYLUM. So you can go check them out at skylum.com. They have what's comparable to Lightroom and After Effects quality software as far as for photo editing and stuff goes. You can, with effects and stuff like that's concerned, they've got a lot of AI and stuff in them, but they're standalone platforms that you don't have to pay a monthly subscription for. You can pay basically what it is you pay once a year, you get all the updates that come out, and you pay for future. I think that we, like Ron was saying, since this is kind of a new company, we got in on the ground floor. So am I mistaken, Ron, or did we not hook up for life?
Well, on every year they come out with updates to pieces of software, and usually the software usually costs out like it's $80 or something. It's under $100 to buy brand new, but usually they let you upgrade for half the price if you're already a customer. Now, what they did for Luminar, since they just introduced the Digital Asset Manager, they upgraded to the new Luminar for free this year.
Yeah, they hooked us up on both of them for free this year.
Okay.
I got both of them for free because remember we were talking about that. So I'm really expecting them to offer us a killer deal on Air Magic. The thing that kind of where we messed up is we should get in on the ground floor and go ahead and ask them if we can't beta test for them.
I was going to say, if anybody from Skyloom is watching this show or have heard of this show, and they used to be called Mac Fun. People maybe still know them by Mac Fun. But Skyloom, if anybody's watching the show and they'd be willing to send some sample licenses out to the Bucketlist Boys, we will all test the software. And we will come in a show and talk. We will dedicate a whole show basically to talking about how good the software is, if somebody would want us to test it for them. And if a representative from Skyloom would like to appear in that show with us and talk about it, we would more than be happy to have that representative on the show with us when we all review the software after we've had a chance to go over it for a while.
And
so
that.
Yes. And just in hearing you talk tonight, Ron, it sounds to me like it would be a good idea to try to get Idaho Sledhead here on the show if he'll actually get on cam with us live to discuss some of the stuff that he's done, if he would.
I've already talked to Idaho Sled about coming on next time I'm the host, and he's kind of agreed. We just got to get him set up with Google Hangouts. He doesn't know anything about Hangouts, so I'm kind of walking him through getting on Hangouts. And we have talked. This is just the talking stage now, but we've even talked about doing a Xeno show together in the future.
That would be fantastic.
Oh, yes.
So that may happen someday too.
See, that's another thing too that we need to bring up. The Xeno is on sale right now. I think until the 8th, maybe under $300. And like Ron has told everybody, it's not comparable to the Mavic Pro, but it's still, we're talking, a high-level toy drone that's got, professional quality characteristics. So, to have a stabilized gimbal for under $300, it's going to give you 4K. That's pretty good. And
is it 3-axis stabilization?
Yes, 3-axis, 3 mechanical axis.
Yes.
Wow.
And as far as I could tell you, there's no, at this $295 price it is now, there's no drone on the market under $295 right now. And I'm not talking about something you bought at 5 years old, you bought on eBay, but at this current selling price, a model that's currently being shipped, I can't think of anything that has a camera as good as this or even close to as good as this. I mean, the Spark is, the Spark is there, and what else is under $500? A couple of things, in a little bit higher range, but nothing under $295. I mean, this camera is, it's the quality of like a GoPro knockoff. It's like of a Firefly. What a Firefly action camera is. They're good knockoff GoPros. I'm going to say the camera quality is in that range. It's not like GoPro 4K or Mavic 4K, but it's decent. Again, it's not professional, but if you're used to flying a 2 megapixel 1080p toy drone camera, it's like night and day. There, he's got a Firefly up there. Good little affordable action camera. Does 4K, nice 4K. Not GoPro or Mavic 4K, but decent 4K. And that's what the Xeno is. It's not going to be world beater 4K. But again, if you've only flown, I said, a 1080p 2 megapixel camera, it's going to blow you away with how good it is. And the 3-axis gimbal is really good. I mean, I'm sure you could get in high winds and have it not be stable. But if you're just regular flying and regular winds. Well, what's his name? Idaho. He flew it in 17 miles per hour wind, and I don't think he had any problem with the gimbal today. So, for what it is, it's amazing. If you think you're getting a Mavic or a Mavic Air or something like that, then it's not the right drone for you. It's not a Mavic. Of course, it's not going to be for $295. It's a high-end toy drone. It's still got problems with flight controllers. Like if you go to the right, it rises. If you go to the left, it goes down. It has automatic takeoff, but it almost drops to the ground again. But it'll righten itself. I mean, it's got some flight control issues that could be fixed. They may be fixed with this firmware upgrade out. Now, they should get it out once they get the flight controller issues knocked off, it's going to be well worth the money.
Yeah, I'm shocked. Of course, now I'm still the whole point of you saying that you've got to arc those two on the controller.
That's dodgy.
The firmware still scares me.
Right. But that being said, I don't need to change my Wi-Fi channels. I mean, I'm not flying in the city. I don't get any interference now. So if that's all the upgrade offers, I'm not even going to do it because I don't need. I've never changed the Wi-Fi channel on my Mavic. You could do it on the Mavic, but I've never even thought about doing it. I don't fly in congested areas. I mostly, like you, I'm out there flying in nature or whatever, or out as far as ways I can get from people and buildings and whatever. I don't need to change Wi-Fi channels.
In case you all didn't notice, you can see in the chat there's Billy came in, Ken Dobo. Yeah, Ken Dono came in, original Dobo, and Billy came in. They said that, Bill, your setup looks good and your audio sounds really good on that new microphone.
Oh, thank you, Billy.
Hey, Billy, Kyle, and Ken Dono. I met a friend of yours just the other day. On Monday, a photographer came out to my house. His name was Steve. I already forget Steve's last name, but he's a former policeman. He said he flew with you guys this weekend at the Bethlehem Steel plant in Pennsylvania. So there we got a mutual friend now.
And Ken's asking how you like rocking the AirPods, Ron.
I'm loving the AirPods, Ken. I'm gonna say I had them day one, but you couldn't get them for a couple months. But I had them when you could get them. I'm an Apple man through and through, so pretty much love everything Apple, Ken. Sorry, I'm gonna read your chat here.
Yeah, I enjoyed the flight at the spot of the New York flight you guys just did.
Yeah, that was a good flight too. When they flew in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, I've actually been to that location, not since I was young, but last time I was at the Bethlehem Steel plant, it was actually still open.
Yeah.
Boy, that brings back memories seeing that video, because I'm from Pittsburgh and there are so many shut down steel plants over in Pittsburgh. I was thinking of that when Ken put that video out there. That was just like, wow, that brought back all kinds of memories. I mean, it's just, and as far as the eye can see, I mean, like for miles, steel plants, and they're all abandoned over in Pittsburgh.
I was just looking at the bars on those windows thinking, God, can you imagine being on the other side of those? Yikes.
Okay, Ron, how about this? I'm going to throw it back to you for your Retro Wednesday.
Way back Wednesday.
There you go.
It doesn't have to be an old drone, but I just like saying way back Wednesday, like the Wayback Machine. What was the cartoon that had the Wayback Machine?
Mr. Peabody, Sherman.
Yeah, Mr. Peabody. Okay, this is Bill Thomas talked about this drone in just last week's episode. He said he always wanted the red Bugs 3. It was like one of the first colors, because he is the blue Bugs 3, which I've always wanted a blue one. So I went down to the drone library. And look what I found down there. The original Bugs 3 in red. And it's not like bought later. This was purchased like immediately. As soon as DJ Soulforce got on like Friday night and flew in front of his house in the driveway, I ordered that night. And it have a little crack in the shell up here a little bit. But otherwise, it's in perfect condition, just as good as I got it. It's still one of my favorite drones. I've added the 5.8 FPV camera to it that you can get from NJX, and everything else is pretty standard on it. So if anybody wants to make a bid on it, we'll start it at about maybe $200, and we'll go up.
But you got to sign it, man, and then it's worth even more. We'll start the bidding.
Yeah. Oh, well, I got my name and phone number on it, which I better not show. But yeah, I'll sign it.
Yeah, and then the price goes up. We'll start the bidding at $250. $250.
Actually, Bill H, it'll be worth more when I get Peter Frampton to sign it.
There we go.
I'm gonna get Frampton to sign it.
Frampton won't sign it. He'll take it home.
Can he fly fully manual?
I don't know, but something tells me he'll try.
Now, does he pinch or is he a thumber? Important questions. The audience needs to know these things.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Right. What are you a pitcher or a thumber?
Well, now that depends on the controller, Bill.
Okay.
Totally does. Totally does. Certain controllers lend themselves to pinching perfectly. Others do not.
You've got a point. I didn't even doubt. Yeah, the gimbals have a lot to do with it.
Like this, the little drone I showed you earlier, the
You can't
Potantic.
pinch that.
You got to thumb these. You can't
Yeah, you
pinch
have
these
to,
little guys.
Exactly.
So that's a good point. Good point.
Yeah, it depends on the gimbal.
I'll have to grab the controller. Come on. Oops.
I don't know. Where are we going with memory lane tonight?
Anybody else have a drone to show?
I got to show. Yeah, because Ron.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Here's the red button.
That's a classic.
The C, or is this the B, or which one? I know
C or W.
I know it's got a different letter after it, but this is the Y.
Does the Wi-Fi? It's a W.
Yeah, the W. Okay, there you go. So,
That has a better camera than the C.
It
does.
Debatable. So
Yeah.
we'll say.
Yeah. I said better. I didn't say good. I said better.
Well, yeah, true.
Go ahead, Bill.
Pinching.
Take your call.
The
No, I don't have to.
That's the first controller I ever had that would actually let me pinch properly. So now pinching is awesome. I love it.
Oh, so you don't pinch with the Mavic Air?
Nope.
Ah, of course, it's got that serrated tip on the gimbal, so you can actually kind of get a hold of it, which is pretty good. It kind of grabs a hold of the meat of your fingers.
Yeah, I think I need a bigger controller or something on the Mavic Air.
Bill H, are you a pincher or a thumber?
I'm a pincher. Well, I was a thumber, okay, and you know who cured me of that? Mel, when he let me fly his Inspire. He says, here, let me show you something. He comes over and he was showing me, and I said, ever since then, I'm a pincher. It was just so interesting to see the big difference between the two styles. And once I did that, it was just like I got hooked. So I thank you, Mel, for that.
Well, something tells me like I can do either, but I keep going back to the thumb. But you know, I can but where the guys like John Coopy and Nemo are kind of helping me with the FPV stuff. So they have been kind of telling me that in order to cross over into the FPV arena, I'm going to basically kind of have to reteach motor skills to myself, where like now I've become, you know, dependent upon the computer assist, it's going to be more difficult for me to learn it. So we'll see.
Yeah. But you know, it's funny. I took to it really quickly. Like until I had that controller, I'd never really tried it honestly. And then once I did, I was just shocked. I had so much more fine motor control over the quad. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, I can see that I've got much more control over it when I'm pinching.
Totally.
But I keep reverting, you know, and I can feel that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I need to do it more. Like I've already put acro on this new one. I didn't have, it was just straight, or excuse me, I put angle on this new one. It was just straight acro before, and I couldn't get it off the ground. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go ahead and take baby steps. So I put angle back on it, and that way I can, and I've got one switch programmed, and so I'll go from there.
I'm still a Padawan. I'm learning.
Well, I said that the Tiny Hawk gets here tomorrow, but we're starting to get ready to do some. So, because I was planning on doing an FPV show next week, but we're going out of town next Thursday for a couple of days. So I think we're going to dedicate that to, I got to go for physical therapy and then just get ready to get out of town for a day or two. And so we're going to, with that saying right now, we're going to skip next week's show. So we'll be off for 2 weeks before returning the week after that. I wanted to bring that up real quick.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool.
So everybody can take a break for St. Patrick's Day from drone therapy, and make sure to check out Bill over on his show. Are you going to do a Sunday show this week, Bill?
Yes, I am. Well, no, not this week. Next week.
Oh, all right. Okay. So, but be sure to check out Bill over on his channel. Make sure to do that.
Will do.
And we're running a little long. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about or discuss, gentlemen? Bueller.
Hey, I know one thing I wanted to say real quick, Ron. I like that picture of your Ford Escort GTX, Bill. That was great. You posted it.
Yeah, my Ford GT.
I remember that.
Yep, it was a cool car. I remember that too. Ron, was there something you wanted to talk about?
I'm sorry.
I was going to give. I'll call it the Best Buy report. I walked through Best Buy today, and of course, I had to hit the drone aisle. And you know what was missing from the drone aisle for the first time? The DJI Karma was no longer on display in the drone aisle.
Oh,
you mean the GoPro Karma?
The Karma drone.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's gone.
I think Best Buy just wanted to get rid of them, so maybe they just got rid of them. Nope, we ain't getting them more.
I'm sure they haven't sold. The only one they sold in the last 6 months is Brian Singleton.
Yeah.
Oh,
Brian probably bought 2 or 3 more. He likes them a lot.
He probably did. And
didn't something go wrong with the Karma not too long ago?
I think so, but I never really got the details on it. I'll have to hit him up on it to find out.
Did you know that the drones they have on display at Best Buy are static models?
I didn't know that.
Okay.
They're gutted?
They're static models. And listen to this. A guy had a static model of a Mavic Pro on sale for $100 on eBay. And I saw a static model of a Phantom 4 Pro. Some guy was selling it for $150 on eBay.
Any bids?
Sure. Good for movie props and whatnot, right?
Bill H, guess what they didn't have? What wasn't available in Best Buy today?
Phantom 4.
You could get. I'm not sure you get the regular Phantom 4, but you could get the Phantom 4 Professional, and you could get the Phantom 4 that. What's the one advanced? It has the good camera, but not all the sensors. Right. They had that. Right. They had the Phantom 4 Pro. They had a little card for the Phantom 4 Pro version 2, but not any stock. But but the Mavics, the Mavic Air was there, and the Mavic Pro Classic, but they did not have any Mavic Pro 2s. Mavic 2s, not the Pro or the Zoom. None of them were in stock, and none of them had any like little cards.
I'm still thinking that we're going to get a new Spark because, like you said, like we've talked before, you're talking about how much the Xeno's coming on, how much better they're getting it to work out. It's sub $300 right now. It's knocking on Spark's door camera quality wise. So they don't have anything in that price range. So Spark's just going to become stagnant the more they improve Xeno because it's a newer platform.
What's the weight of the Xeno?
It's about the same size and weight of say the Mavic Classic. It may be a bit lighter, but it's probably just a little bit bigger, completely unfolded.
Oh, I'm seeing something in the chat. Mike saying Smoky Mountain said P5. Well, did you know that Smoky Mountain Ariel, like, 3 weeks ago, posted a video that said there wasn't going to be a Phantom 5, that he had inside information that they were going to do another upgrade on the Phantom, and that was the way it was going to be. So did he just recently come out and say, again, there was going to be a Phantom 5? Because Bill's been talking about it for a while. And Mel and Brian and all of them have come in and said that there wasn't going to be a Phantom 5. So that's kind of curious. And the reason that you can't find the video anymore was supposedly he said, what was it, that his attorney told him that he should take it down because it was basically insider info that we weren't supposed to be privy to. So, but yes, am I wrong or am I hallucinating on that, Bill? Wasn't that out there a few weeks ago?
Yeah, that was. Well, with Mel told me, he called me up regarding what's the software? He's the one he uses for his broadcast.
vMix.
Yeah, vMix. He was going over vMix with me, but he told me, he says, I got to tell you something. He heard from a director at DJI that there will be no Phantom 5. And then he kind of backtracked a little bit. If I'm wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mel, He didn't say, anything towards the latter part of the year. He just said right now there's no Phantom 5 in the works. But you know what? And this is just me. It's going to come third or fourth quarter. It's you don't kill something that is a name synonymous with drones. The Phantom name is synonymous with DJI, with drones, with quality, with a quality prosumer drone. They're not going to kill that. They're not going to kill the brand, and they're not going to kill the series. I mean, you will see a Phantom 5 this year. It's probably going to be third or fourth quarter is my bet. And we're going to see that Spark Pro, that Spark 2, probably, as we talked about, Bill and Ron and I talked about, probably before the summer.
Bill,
I think so.
Yes.
Bill H., I want to ask you this question. I'm not. You may know or may not know. We'll go with the Phantom. If the Phantom 5 is coming third quarter, when will it actually go into production at the factories? How far ahead of the launch date do they start making them at the factories?
For instance, if we're looking, say, like at a fourth quarter release, I would say they have to start gearing up in July.
Okay.
They need to start around that kind of a time frame.
Okay, thanks. So if a Spark 2 coming this summer, it's about ready to gear up now.
I would say now, yeah. I would say now they're gearing up for that.
Bill, I think the Phantom 5 just made an appearance.
There it is.
There it is. It just came out. It just got released.
Yeah, I wish. With
El Cinco.
No. She needs to be in the air. She started hollering at me when y'all were talking about that. She's like, "You haven't flown me in a while. Where have you been? Did you replace me? You're not coming to see me as often as you were."
She gets jealous.
Oh, most definitely. She said, "Why have you bought me no new accessories in so long?" So sooner or later, I'm gonna have to put her in.
Told me you loved me.
Yeah, I'm gonna come home one day and there's gonna be an empty case and a note.
Ran away from it.
Yes, I went away to someone who will fly me every day.
That's funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you fly every day?
Pretty much I do. Yeah.
Good.
Even if it's only inside, pretty much every day.
Good.
That's pretty cool. Well, I think we've all had a blast. Has anybody got any final notes for the evening? Anybody?
I saw Steve Carpenter was in the chat for a while tonight. He's the winner of our giveaway a month or so ago. And Steve's a new waterfall in his, I think it's in his marina. Have anybody seen his videos? I guess they're having a terrible amount of flooding in California. And I think a waterfall came out of no place.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Be very
Check out his channel.
Is to get Steve to come on with us, and so he could show that little drone, because he showed us a picture. Remember in Coast to Coast Drones, it's a cool looking little drone. It's like a mini Mavic. It's really, really cool. And so
we're gonna twist his arm to get him on.
I don't know. I'm a little ways away from him. I don't know if I can twist his arm or not. So let's roll it around the room and let everybody say their good evenings. And I will pass it to Bill H first. Bill.
All right, Bill. Another great show tonight. Want to thank our guests, Hugh. Absolutely fantastic. Coming from a project management IT background, I just absolutely love that scorecard of yours. It just blows me away. And you keep cranking out those videos. I'll keep watching them, Hugh. You got a subscriber here for life. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I have to say, it was a privilege and an honor to have Romeo on last night. And, don't watch it for me. Watch it for, to learn from Romeo. And you can learn so much about the company and about what they do. And, it's more than just cranking out drones. He quoted statistics now. It's up to, I think, about 240 people have been saved through drones. And that just kind of blew me away last night when I heard that. That really said, it's great to be able to do these for fantastic photographs, for videos, for putting great things together, putting clips out on YouTube. But, when you hear of drones being able to rescue people and making a difference, It's absolutely fantastic. And if you get a chance, please watch it. Just and learn from Romeo. I asked the questions, but Romeo was the one. He was the star last night. He absolutely, positively was. And the other thing, the Mavic 2 is at its 6-month anniversary, and I have a video coming out later tonight on that, about our experience in New York at the See the Bigger Picture event. It was great. I mean, it kind of blew me away that one of the things I wanted to say when I closed was how many people weren't there. They probably had chairs set up for probably about maybe 300 or 400 people, and if there was 100, it was lucky. That kind of it was in a very large area, but the whole production that DJI put on was just absolutely super and fantastic. It was a great time. Got to meet a lot of people. It was great. As always, Bill, a great show tonight. Ron, fantastic about your dedication with the Xeno. I'm looking forward to maybe you and Marcus getting together on something about that. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Ron Brown, Xeno Nation himself.
Thank you, Bill. It was a great show tonight. Again, I want one more time. I want to congratulate you on that great show you had last night with Romeo from DJI. Just a great interview. I advise everybody to follow your link and go over and watch that. And I want to thank you for coming on the show tonight. You've been a great guest. I've learned a lot from you, especially that little logger eye. And I did my homework today. I'm a subscriber, but I watched a whole bunch of your videos today to get familiar with you and your channel. And I'm going to be visiting channel a lot more now. So I'm really glad you came on the show. I hope you come back sometime too. So. And I want to thank my great co-hosts, Bill H. and Bill Thomas, for doing this great show, and Bill Thomas for starting the show, and having us all on with him. And I want to thank everybody for being in the chat room tonight, all our regulars and even our special guests who dropped in tonight. So on that note, I'm going to throw it back to Bill Thomas to wrap up things for tonight.
All right. I want to pitch it. Is there any closing that you'd like to say, Hugh? Would you like to tell the few people that are with us still good night or anything?
Nothing specific. I just thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. And, I appreciate the interest you've taken in the scorecard. That makes me feel good. I did something that pleased myself, and I'm glad other people found it useful. And so, anybody else, feel free to take that, use it, modify it, make it your own. You're not ripping me off. That's just an idea that I want to share with people. So, throwing it out there to the universe, guys.
Well, that's great. That's the whole thing about drone therapy, is giving back to the community. I was fantastic to have you on tonight. We'd love to have you on again in the future. And I want to say this: Romeo, 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 wherefore art thou, Romeo? On the Drone Reviewers channel. Go check it out. And with that, live long and prosper. Night, everybody.